Hi, I'm Will, and this is the 31 Days of Lifetime, a sort of advent calendar for people who are married to a Lachey. I've made it my mission to watch every single offering in Lifetime's 2020 holiday catalog, but I won't be doing it alone. Each day I'll be joined by a special guest or guests that will help me dig in to these instant Christmas classics. Today, I am joined by the love of my lifetime, Abby Carter.
I will. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, Abby. We are going to be discussing the 18th film in Lifetime's lineup, People Presents Once Upon a Main Street. Amelia Lewis is super excited when she buys an available storefront, planning to open a year-round Christmas shop, but her celebration comes to a screeching halt when she discovers that Vic Manning has also bid on the property. Amelia and Vic have the same idea: get to the seller, Elder Dubois, in the next town and convince him to sell his space to them. Despite the holidays, Elder is down in the dumps. It's the first Christmas without his wife, and he's in no mood to chair the decoration committee for the Battle of the Main Street, yearly holiday competition with the neighboring town. Hoping to win favor with Elder, Amelia and Vic volunteer to take over his duties. After continually bickering and trying to one-up each other, the two combatants learn to work together and even get the merchants on Main Street to put aside their differences for the greater good. Everyone, including Amelia and Vic, realize that compromise is the key that leads to a happy and romantic ending. That was the longest synopsis I've ever read. People Presents Once Upon a Main Street premiered on November 29th and stars Vanessa Lachey and Ryan McPartlin. So, what is your relationship with Lifetime original movies?
I would say between the ages of 13 and maybe 15, I was watching a lot of those, like based on a true story Lifetime movies, not the holiday ones necessarily. So I was a bit of a connoisseur of films like, let's say, Pregnancy Pact. I don't know if you're familiar.
Yeah, we've had some fans as guests before.
But I never was watching the Lifetime holiday movies, and not even the Hallmark holiday movies. I'm pretty behind on those things.
So, Abby, what did you think of the title of this movie? If you had seen this title on your TiVo, would you have watched it?
What did I think about the title? Well, for fans of this YouTube series, what you may or may not know is that Will sent us a list of films and we got to pick which one, really spoke to us. And I after Will texted me this list, I read it out loud to my sister, and this was the title that made us laugh the hardest, Something About the People Presents. It's what drew me to the film initially. Now, when I went to record the movie so I could watch it later, I found that on demand there was both People Presents Once Upon a Main Street and just Once Upon a Main Street listed separately. Hard to say what it means. Something About the People Presents, I'm sure I watched, even if it was the exact same film, I know it was better, the one that I watched.
Oh yeah, the fact that People was presenting it to you, that really hits home to me. What did you think of our two leads? This could be acting, it could be characters, talk about their chemistry a little bit. You've got Vanessa Lachey and Ryan McPartlin.
You know when you see an actor in a film and you're like, I know what somebody has said is this actor's type. Like, I know what he's been told. Like, this person, oh, you really remind me of such and so. I know, if he went to theaters, I know at some point somebody told this man, you're a modern day Paul Newman. And here's what I see. I see a more threatening Armie Hammer from him. I think, feel free to disagree.
No, I definitely got that. I thought his voice was very nice. That's the extent of what I gained from this movie. I could not tell you a single thing that happened. I couldn't tell you characters' names until I read that novella of a synopsis.
No, I think the thing that I really appreciated about this Lifetime and about, like, many movies in this genre, I've tried to watch a few more this season, and what I love is the lack of conflict and plot, because why would you want conflict at this time of year? You know what I mean? They almost had a fight in this movie, and I got a little worried. I was like, oh, it feels like... But then they worked it out like mature adults, so...
Right. See, I felt the same way you felt about the fight, where it almost happened and then didn't, about them falling in love. Because I don't know exactly when that happened, but I believe we're to assume that it did.
I think it's really interesting what Lifetime movies choose to omit, like in their screenplays and just like the film in general, like as well as a lack of conflict, is a lack of any sort of character arc or personality of any kind. They fell in love because they were both very attractive and in a room together. And I think that that is what we should take away from this.
I agree. I think Vanessa Lachey tried her hardest. She is honestly likable. She's not very good. I think if they just had like let her loose on the set to like talk to people and be nice, then I think honestly it may have been a better movie.
But okay, and then I guess I do have a question for you about, so you've seen 18 of these now. At
19 technically, as I discussed in the last episode I watched. The last one was a sequel, so I watched both.
My first question is, are you okay?
No. I think I'm coming clean. Hashtag free Britney, hashtag free
Please.
Will. I think this is the one that broke me.
Okay.
I don't know if it's because I genuinely, against all odds, enjoyed the last one. And I liked the cast. I liked all the characters, and it was like building on what they did in the first one.
Wow.
This one was like none of that, obviously. I don't know what happened, really at all. I think Patrick Duffy is the only person who gave a good performance, but honestly, it was only in the scene where he saw his daughter.
Oh, I have to disagree. Patrick Duffy, if you're watching this, and I know that he is. I mean, from the second he came on screen, I was like, this little elf man is going to rescue this. And I was right. It just goes to show that the protagonist of the film for me, and I'm sure you, Patrick Duffy.
And the thing is, a lot of the time, you get these like really good actors. Usually they're wasted. But I think that they took the person that they knew was the best in this movie and actually gave him things. There's like one other key side character. There was also Rowena, or
Thank you.
as I would like to call her, American Professor Trelawney. Another bright spot in this movie.
There was something about her, again, another moment where I thought, ooh, the conflict, like here comes the conflict. But no, she was just honestly a very agreeable woman once they, adjusted themselves to her needs.
A classic Home Alone.
I've never seen Home Alone. I want to bring something up, and this is something that I think you'll be more expert on. I've never seen more garlands in my life. I don't know if you clocked that, like watching this movie, because there wasn't a lot else to pay attention to. And my other favorite thing was just the 20 like single like potted poinsettias that they moved to various different locations. Did you clock that?
No, I did, but I'm fascinated because
yes,
multiple times in this series, I have discussed with my guests that no one says poinsettia. Everyone we know says poinsettia. So I wonder if it is a West Coast thing.
Okay, I'm not going to claim to know the correct pronunciation. I mean, I am saying it like it's
I think you can say it either way, but it's interesting because they said it, in these movies, they've said poinsettia, and every time I'm like,
what's that?
It's interesting. But yeah, on that topic of the set dressing, I think this movie was pretty. I think the ones that take place in small towns compared to like city-based movies
are so much better. Basically, what I love in a film is if it looks like it could have been filmed on the Gilmore Girls set, I'm on board. With the fake snow, I know that's really hard. I know it's really hard to do. And like a lot of it was really good until they got to the building a snowman part. Like you're in the cold, but you're not cold. I'm like, we went to school at Ball State University in Muncie, Indiana. And I just...
Yeah, we know cold. We had to walk from La Follette to Pip.
It's so much to say about the lighting of this movie and just this absolute silence where people would be like walking through a room and sound was so...
Oh, sound is bad. Always bad. Lighting is always bad for everyone except for the lead woman. They're like, we don't care about you, Ryan. We don't care about anybody except Vanessa Lachey.
And they could have let her anyway and she would have looked amazing.
I know, she's gorgeous anyway. So this is kind of a fun question before we get into the really serious questions. The interrogation. This is a movie about a main street. They're fighting over opening these stores that don't matter. If you had to choose a kind of store to open, like a specialty main street kind of store, give up acting and do that, what store would you want to open? What would you want to sell?
I know immediately, and it relates back to this film, and it's lamps. I would own a lamp store because, and I have to go back to this motel set, I've never seen more lamps in a single room than I did in that motel set. But I would own a lamp store. But here's the thing, I don't want to socialize with my customers, so I would be Rowena in the back of the store. Let people do what they will, and if they need me, they can come confront me. But I want a lamp store in my Christmas on the Square.
Not the name of this movie. In your Once Upon a Main Street. Interesting. My lawyers will be in touch. So, Abby, I have prepared a game for you. I know that you said you stalked Patrick Duffy's IMDb, but I've got some questions about everybody's IMDb. I'm going to give you a fact. You have to tell me who that fact applies to. First one. Their longest TV stint was in the series Dads, starring Seth Green.
I know what all of those words mean separately, but I don't know what they mean together. Okay, I'm gonna guess. The Man. Was he a dad in the Dad's show?
No, unfortunately, the correct answer is Vanessa Lachey. She played one of the titular dad's wives. The other wife was played by Brenda Song. The show lasted for 19 episodes. That is Vanessa Lachey's longest job in TV. She's the one that they hung this movie on. She's had less experience than the other 3 people that I'm going to give you facts about. Next one. Appeared as an unnamed student in Community while they were a regular on another series at the time.
A regular series? I'm like, who is in this show? The motel owner who really wanted them to sleep in the same room for some reason. He was really pressuring them. I'm going to guess The Man again.
That is correct. Ryan McPartlin was a regular on Chuck when he appeared as Frisbee student number 3 in Community. Next, this one's fun for you, Abby. Appeared in an episode of season 17 of NCIS.
I know. I was in the same season of NCIS as Patrick Duffy himself.
Okay, and then the last one. This one is insane. Like, this one's wild to me. Was the head writer for the Nickelodeon series, The Naked Brothers Band.
If it's not Rowena, I'm gonna be so upset.
It is Rowena, yeah.
Thank God. A head writer on the Naked Brothers Band. Do you think she's still close with Nat and Alex Wolf? Do you think she saw Hereditary?
Yeah, I heard she was one of the naked people in Hereditary, much like Ryan McPartlin on Community. So, before we wrap up, I've got a couple questions for you, opinion-based questions. Yeah. Ryan McPartlin as Vic, I think his name was. On a scale from 1 to 10, how dateable is the character?
The character?
Yeah, not the actor. You don't know him.
No, I know, but I'm thinking about how mean he was so mean to her. Like the whole movie, how dateable is that character? Personality-wise, especially because he claims to be a chocolatier, and when he holds a whisk, he looks like he's never held a whisk in his life. I give him a 3 out of 10. In terms of looks and probably like real life, like just natural charm, 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10.
Yeah, his voice is a 10 out of 10.
Voice is a 12 out of 10.
Okay, and then the next question, I think this is an obvious answer. Who would you say is the MVP of this movie?
Sir Patrick Duffy. I have knighted him at this point. This is the Patrick Duffy video. And the last thing I'd like to say about him is that he also hails from Seattle, Washington.
So,
yeah.
Abby, where can people find you if they want to follow you this holiday season?
You can find me on Instagram at Abby Zaba with 3 A's at the end, and you can catch me on season 17, episode 17 of NCIS. You can catch me in a reading of Emma Sophie Runn's play To Fix a Dinosaur. That's going to be released through Future Publishing House, and that will be on my Instagram as well.
Abby, thank you so much for being here today to talk about this movie with me. And thank you for watching. I'll be back tomorrow to talk about the Christmas listing with Kelsey Scomer. And every day this month to get into a different Christmas flick. If you had a holly jolly time watching this video, you can go ahead and hit that like button. And if you want to follow me into my descent into Lifetime Madness, you can subscribe and press that little bell icon, because every time a bell rings, you'll get notified about a new video that I post. I'll see you next time. Merry Christmas.